the new bigger pusher plate, and the 4-way wedge. Well, it's pretty safe to say that larger pusher plate is an improvement, no question. She runs well. But like most every other splitter we've ever had or I've ever used on the channel, which I think have been about 6 or 7 now over the years, other than the larger Eastonmades that have the big log cradle in the middle and the 4-way or the 6-way, you're always going to run into some blocks that are going to end up catching that wedge and riding up vertically when you push them through. You just always will. And I think that has a lot to do with how nasty the knot is or the crotch in it, as well as the fact that as much as you try to block all your wood really square at the ends, you know, a lot of times you end up with, you know, stuff like this at the end. And that's going to cause that lug or that block to shift as you're pushing it through. But hands down, we've used it with the single wedge now, and today with the 4-way, and it definitely is a pretty noticeable improvement, for sure. Good job, Andrew. Wow, it always surprises me. We had, if you remember, just that little pile with what looked like a few logs left, one big one and a bunch of smaller ones as you saw today. I figured, not much wood in there. But I just emptied that trailer for the second time. And that little trailer, when it's level, holds just under a face cord. And now we've still got the big babies to do. They're about 20-inch ash, so I'm going to have to raise up this wedge. If you've got an Ultra, here's a little trick I do when I'm by myself and I don't have somebody else to help me with the wedge. So in this case, I'm going to raise this wedge up because those blocks are pretty big. First thing I do, of course, is I pull my R pin. I can find it under here. There it is. And what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to pull that lever out. But what I want to do is I want to grab the wedge, put my body into it. I pull the wedge against the I-beam or the support beam because it gives it a little bit of friction. And then I'm going to drop her down. Here we go. Okay. I didn't need to drop it. See how it holds itself? I'm going to lift it up a bit, and then I'm going to pull it back against. Take a peek. I got the pin in. Do I like the hole? I think I'm going to leave it there, and if it's too high, then I'll drop it down again. But if you want to drop it down into a hole, as opposed to underneath the beam itself, as I've done here, just keep your weight on it. Keep that friction. Put your pin into the first bracket hole, and then slowly wiggle it, and you'll find that it'll wiggle itself down a little bit at a time, and keep pressure, whether it's with your hand or with your knee, until it finds the hole and it'll push right in for you. Well, I'm glad we finally got the rest of those logs bucked up and split. Knocked that one off the chores list. And to tell you, when I'm running big rounds like that, I always like or prefer a single wedge because, you know, sometimes they get stuck. But I wanted to send out a special thank you to a gentleman named Chris. He has a channel called In the Woodyard, and he's the one that shared that little trick to use the chain to pull the block back off the wedge very easily. Thanks, Chris. First time I've ever needed it. Worked like a charm. Well, I'm going to finish up here. Hope you folks enjoyed the video today. Got the 4-way on there, and I got some different size rounds to test it out with that bigger pusher plate. Did pretty good, I think. Certainly an improvement. Like I said, you're never going to, unless you've got one of the big Eastonmades with that log cradle and the massive pusher plate, you're not going to get away from every once in a while having a round or a block that's going to ride up on the wedge on you. It just has to happen. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting videos, just click that little bell. Have a wonderful and safe week with your families. Please be kind to one another. I'll see you again right here on GP Outdoors. Cheers.